Alright, we're on. Let's do this thing, man. Now, I just saw a tweet from a comic that I really enjoy. His name is Chad Daniels. He is a funny, funny dude. But it bothers me that he would even have to say something like this. But the tweet says, in wake of his second arrest on suspicion of domestic violence, Reuben Foster was cut by the San Francisco 49ers, then picked up by the Washington Redskins. Good thing he didn't kneel during the anthem. So there's that. I mean, it's really it's a fucking mess, bro. The whole thing is a damn train wreck. It really like it's not. I don't understand. I don't understand why one is more talked about than the other, which is exactly why I started this thing so that we can get into that. Now, I decided before I started to Google NFL domestic violence policy, and it shows here. Now, this is the first thing that popped up, so it may or may not be true, but it says the NFL domestic violence policy has been put into effect after Ray Rice domestic violence incident on August 28, 2014. Commissioner Roger Goodell lengthens bans to 6 games for the first incident and a lifetime ban after the second incident. Now, I don't know if that is 100% true, but I mean, I guess we'll find out, right? I don't know. But anyway, the whole point is this kneeling situation has been brought up a lot, man. A lot. I mean, to the point where you can't even have a conversation about the NFL without kneeling coming in at some point. Maybe it doesn't drive the narrative of the conversation, but it does come up sooner or later. So, I mean, just kind of curious to see what you guys think about this in the sense that, Kaepernick, if you don't follow football, let me just break this down for you. It's not going to take very long. Now, there's a guy, Colin Kaepernick, who's the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. What had happened was he decided to start a protest using the national anthem as a catalyst to be able to do that. He would get down on one knee, and his argument was in the beginning, this is where it all started, was from the black people getting shot in the streets and all this kind of wild shit. Like, matter of fact, here's what I'll do for you, just so that you know that I'm not bullshitting you. Kaepernick. Now, if I can pull something up, I will screen share. So this is back in 2016. Uh, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Let me give it a shot. I will try to screen share this. Give me a moment here. Share. Hide that. Push that down. Just so that we're clear on the reasons why. Now, obviously, I'm going to skim through this. I'm not going to read the entire thing. But, oh, come on, man. Pictures and everything else. Alright, he put himself into controversy by refusing to stand for the national anthem in a protest of what he deems wrongdoings against African Americans and minorities in the United States. His refusal to stand for the anthem has done this in at least one other preseason game. Yeah, okay. Let me just get to his quote, which is, I am not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color, he told NFL media. To me, this is bigger than football, and it would be selfish on my part to look the other way. There are bodies in the street, and people are getting paid leave and getting away with murder. Now, here's the reason why I bring this up, because yesterday I did a video on police brutality. Okay, I had somebody and I lost them. Look, man, this is what this conversation is going to be about. If it makes you uncomfortable, then you should probably just hang up now. But anyway, I did a video yesterday on police brutality, and I was reading through some of the statistics from my home state of New Jersey. And it was kind of, not even kind of, it's very disturbing the fact that cops do certain things and then they get away with it, but that's not the complete reason why we're here. Now, look, man, I bring up this kneeling thing, like I said, because I saw the tweet from Chad Daniels. If you don't know who that is, go and check him out. But anyway, you know, I noticed, I don't remember the dude's name. I don't remember the dude's name, but he played for the Cowboys. And I don't like this fucking guy. I wish I could remember his name, but I don't for the life of me. But I know that his story was something about he beat up his girlfriend and threw her on a bed with a bunch of guns, choking her out or whatever. Hardy, I think, might be his name, something like that. But anyway, he played for the Cowboys, and the point that I'm trying to make here is that it seems like it's very easy. Like you can whoop your girl's ass as long as you're not Ray Rice, because obviously he had to be put up on the cross for a lack of a better term, because I mean there was clear video footage. If you haven't seen that, I'm sure you can go and find it. It's pretty fucked up, but I'm not gonna judge the guy only because I don't know I don't know if he has mental issues. I don't know what their relationship is like. Do they beat up on each other all the time? I'm not saying that's an okay thing to do, but because I don't have all the facts, I don't wanna shit on the dude necessarily. But the reason why I brought up this other guy who used to play for the Cowboys was because, you kneel for the national anthem and everybody makes a big deal about it, right? But you can kick your girl's ass and now perfectly fine. You can go get a new job. I don't understand why that's a thing. Now look, I get it. I get it. People get very, very sensitive when it comes to their patriotism, the way that they feel, and the country that they represent. And I'm going to preface everything that I say by saying that, look, I understand that America is a great place to live. I would be a fucking fool if I did not say that this was a great place to live, but that goes for some people. Not everybody, unfortunately. When I say it's a great place to live, I mean the fact that I can even go on YouTube live right now and I can talk about this shit and I don't have somebody from our government trying to tell me what I can and I can't say. Already a dislike, dude? Damn. Why? You didn't say a damn thing. What's your opinion? Are you a vet? Are you against the national anthem kneeling? When does this screaming start? Oh, this is my favorite guy from yesterday. What's up, baby? I'm not gonna scream, man. I wasn't even screaming yesterday. I mean, come on, dude. I'm a loud person by nature, but I don't scream. But so what's your hey Mr. Canada, what's your take on the national anthem kneeling? Do you not like that either? When you're not even an American and it really doesn't affect you? I wanted to ask you yesterday. You know, you got me thinking like so I can understand maybe you have a thing for cops, right? Like you don't like people bad mouthing police. They do a job that a lot of other people don't want to do. Completely understandable. But some of them do misuse their power. We got through that yesterday. But why is it that you don't? Why is it that you're against the national anthem thing? I mean, do you not think that it's okay for an athlete to voice an opinion because they're an athlete? Are you not able? Do you even watch football? That would be the better question because I'm pretty sure you guys have your own league, right? CFL or something like that. I think you do. I could be wrong on the name, but I'm pretty sure you guys have some kind of a thing out there where a lot of players that can smoke weed in the States, they go and play for your league because I think they're allowed to have a smoke if they want to. And I know a lot of players do tend to gravitate towards that, which we'll segue into that in a little bit because that's another thing that I wanted to bring up was the difference between I never said I was on the side of police. Well, what I'm saying is, dude, that you don't like. I'm assuming now. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't like when somebody says something bad about them, or are you just looking to be a pain just for the sake of being a pain? Because that's okay. I support that, even though you're a Canadian. I'm on behalf of America. I do appreciate the fact that you can voice your opinion and that the government doesn't get all involved. My point was the bigoted thinking is fallacious and a part of the problem on both sides. Okay, well, you know, I understand that. Bigotry is a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. However, I have met people that have gone from both sides of that. So then, do you think that this is bigotry in its own way? Because I mean, when Colin Kaepernick kneels for the anthem, and my objection is when people talk about all cops or all blacks. It's polarizing the discussion, which needs to be nuanced to move forward. Okay, well, I mean, I'm not saying all. Again, I know I prefaced that yesterday, which I don't mean all. Not everybody is. You can't take one person out of an entire group and then classify that entire group and say that they're all bad. I've met a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life. And, not everybody is a good person, but that kind of comes with the territory. But when this guy kneels for the national anthem, right? I don't see that as a disrespect to the veterans. I actually think it's the complete opposite of that, which is that, they go and they go to places that regular people would never go and would not want to go to, I would assume. Now you can argue that there are people out there that would want to be in the armed forces, but for whatever reason they're not allowed to, whether it is because of a disability, maybe it's a mental illness of some type, which I guess you could categorize as a disability depending on how you feel about that, or whatever the test is, maybe they didn't pass it. I'm an NFL fan. I don't have a problem with kneeling when I play football. Taking a knee was just what you did when you listen. Yeah, no, no, no. I've seen that. I've seen that too. So like I see this all over the news, man. They made a big, big deal about the fact that people are kneeling when I don't see it as a disrespect to veterans because they go and they fight for the right for you to say whatever you want to say. Cap is not playing because he doesn't have the mind to run NFL offense. I've heard that argument be made also. I was actually going to bring that up. I was going to bring that up because I've heard it from both sides. I have a friend of mine that I've known for a very long time, and he brought this up to me, was that he feels like kneeling for the national anthem is a disrespect to the veterans. That how dare you do something like that, because it's not. Hold on. The problem for me is that you are 1% thinking about the protests on the field. You're not 100% thinking about winning the game. Okay, I can see that argument, but at the same time, how do you not think about the protest as far as even, I mean, I would throw white players into the mix as well, but I don't know how many of them are concerned about things like this. We're going to be completely honest. Cav told everyone it was about police brutality. It was never about the military or patriotism. Yeah, that's right. But unfortunately, the argument has been twisted so much that people have turned it into being about the military or patriotism. And that was the whole point of bringing this up, was that it seems like the original point about police brutality has been completely ignored. And now it's been put on, well, you're disrespecting the country. I mean, when Trump goes on national television and talks about how the NFL needs to put rules into place to not allow this to happen, I think that's kind of treacherous territory. Because I mean, it is they have the right to speak in some way. No, I understand the people that get aggravated and say, "Look, man, I turned the game on because I want to get away from politics. I don't want to see anything that has to do with any of that shit. I just want to be able to sit down, watch a game, root for my team, and be done with it, just for an hour or however long. I want to take my mind off of the issues that are going on in the outside world, and I just want to sink my teeth into a game for a little while." Trump is a complete moron and a fascist. I mean, dude, I don't know what to think about Trump, honestly. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't go out of my way with the hashtags, not my president or any of that. Just because, I mean, look, the government tends to run certain things like a business, right? I mean, that's just what it is. Every country, I think, in some small way, if not a larger way, is just looking to make money. And this guy seems to make it that his primary focus. I mean, he says some wild shit, but I mean, I think that the only thing that I like about him is the fact that he's not a cookie cutter politician. Because anybody can go up there. He's a traitor, and the noose is closing around his neck as we speak. See, I don't know if I necessarily believe that the noose is tightening around his neck, only because I mean, what are the options here to close him out? You take him out of office, and then will you get Mike Pence in return? I mean, I don't know, man. It's kind of freaky, dude. Is an incompetent and a liar. Well, I mean, aren't all politicians though? That's another issue, I think, is that a lot of politicians are full of shit. The only difference from your day-to-day politician versus Donald Trump would seem to be the fact that he'll say something, but he doesn't dress it up in such a way. Another president, and I won't even say Obama, because Obama had his share of issues, at least in my mind, of things that he did wrong, but I'm not allowed to say that, apparently. That's not something you're allowed to talk about at all because he was a black president. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, everybody has their different views on this shit, but you can't just because he was a black president doesn't mean that he was perfect. And on that subject, I don't think that Obama would ever come out and said something about the NFL, but that's only because who said you're not allowed to talk about Obama? Well, no, I think nobody told me that I'm not allowed to talk about Obama, but I think that there is a large stigma attached to trying to talk about that, at least as somebody who's white. I think there's a bit of a stigma to that because there are some people that would automatically jump and try to say that I'm being a racist by putting the man down, which is wildly inaccurate and inappropriate to say something like that. No, I'm not. I'm not defending Trump, dude. I'm making a point here. Which is that, dude, I didn't vote for Trump and I didn't vote for Hillary. I actually sat out of the election, and there are people that could kill me for that, saying that, well, if you didn't vote, then you should shut the hell up. Well, I mean, what was I supposed to do? I didn't like either candidate. Hillary has a gang of problems all of her own. And I don't appreciate the fact at all that rather than focusing on policy, the election became about gender to a degree, which is we need a woman in the White House. Well, I mean, really, you could do better than Hillary Clinton, man. I firmly believe that. I don't know where she would be. Not Hillary. I'm saying the potential candidate, where she would be, who she is, or what she stands for. But I'm sure you can argue on either side that there could have been better candidates. Because I mean, the last thing we seen Clinton in office, and I mean, you can make an argument that Hillary could be different, but I don't know, man. She was not very honest either. I think where Donald Trump got everybody was, talking about how he's gonna bring all the jobs back, and then immigration was a really big thing that he talked about. What blew my mind is the fact that he said that he could shoot somebody in the street and nobody would say a word about it, wouldn't hurt his polls at all. You're the one who is making policies about race and sex here. Just stop it. It starts with you moving past the bigoted thinking. Oh boy. All right, dude. So how am I a bigot now? How am I a bigot now for saying that, Hillary Clinton sucks? That's just a fact in my mind. What do you want me to do, dude? She was terrible. Terrible. And Donald Trump sucks too. How you like that shit? I don't like either of them. To be completely honest with you, I think the whole political system as a whole sucks. I think we need to get money out of politics. We're talking about Trump and you went to sex and race. Well, if you're going to talk about Trump, the reason why sex is brought up is because Hillary Clinton was the opponent to Trump. So I don't think you can talk about Trump without bringing up sex even for a brief period of time. Because if the election would have been Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump, I think it would have been a completely different conversation. Because at least then it would be, I think the whole election would have had a different feel to it. What about ism? All right, maybe you're right, but what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Trump is in office, good for him. Trump is a racist and a sexist, according to one of his ex-wives, and a rapist too. Okay, well, I can't confirm or deny that. If he is a rapist, then he's a piece of shit, and he shouldn't be a president. and you shouldn't be allowed to do something like that and then go on to be a president. That just shouldn't be something that happens. Now, I'm not saying that his ex-wife is a liar or multiple wives of his are liars by any means. I just don't know. I don't know how you would be able to prove something like that just because of how serious something like that is. I mean, I know that there are rape kits and things like that, but because of how much money that guy has, I don't think that case would ever see the light of day in a courtroom. I said earlier, I don't like Trump. I like certain things about him, like the fact that he's not a cookie cutter politician, but I mean that's about it. I mean he says things that, like with the thing that happened with Syria, the guy got the guy got murdered. Her claims were essentially ignored. But see, that's what I'm talking about because nobody, and that's the other thing too. I think if you polled Trump supporters, I don't think that they would really much care. They may make an argument like, oh well, she just wants to try to bring him down. But I would like to think, and I know that there are women out there that do this, and that's shameful. But I would like to think that most people that pull up an accusation like rape really mean it. And it can be, I'm sure if you dug into it, it probably could be proven just because, I mean, again, why would you why would you say something like that if it wasn't true? They don't care. They love his in your face, fuck you way of doing things. Well, see, that's the problem. That's the big problem is that people are so fed up with the standard politician. I'm going to say everything right. I'm not going to really talk about polarizing issues. I want to do well with as many people as I can, and that's it. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, there are deals being made. There are companies that are putting money into campaigns and things like that. But none of that stuff ever gets talked about. Never. And if you try to bring it up, so it's a problem. It's a serious problem. Which I don't understand that, man. I don't know how are we supposed to take pride in where we live as far as our political system is concerned when we don't know what the actual motives are behind what these people are doing. If we took the money out of politics, I would be really curious to see how many people would still want to be a politician because they're not going to get big checks behind the scenes from certain companies. I talked about this in the recreational marijuana video that I did as it pertains to medical use in New Jersey, and our last governor, Governor Christie, which I'm sure you guys probably know, that is only because of the previous election that we were just talking about a moment ago. But he was getting money. He was against marijuana. He says because hashtag save the children. It's always about the children. Meanwhile, there are speak easy ice cream parlors that are infusing liquor in the ice cream, but hashtag save the children. But anyway, he was against weed, and I looked up some of his. One of my friends sent me a link to what his campaign contributions were, and oddly enough, it came. Several of them came from uh, radiation and chemo companies, and then also the Dallas Cowboys, because you always see him and Jerry Jones together. The answer is to get involved in politics instead of complaining on the internet. Do something if you care a lot. Get out there and meet people. I'm all for going back to public funding, at least. Or no, I think the last one was the one the Carter won. Jesus, has it been that long? And you know what? To address the previous comment of get out there and do something, dude. If I could, if there was if it wasn't all run on money, right? And I could essentially get out there and attempt to be a politician, I would do it. Not because I want the money from doing it, but because I think there are things that can be changed on at least a state level where I am. That shit does matter. It does matter, and I would happily go out and do something, but I don't think that that's even a possibility for me to be able to go out and do that. But, you can start today, but you have to work your way up. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'll look into this. I will look into this. I'll actually pull up a separate tab and I'll Google it. That'll be. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Okay. So let's see if we can find something here. Because I put how to be a politician, political jobs and employment. All right, so we have a thing here that we can check into. Starts with volunteering for a candidate or a party. Go to a meeting. Hmm. Yeah, but again, I mean that's the problem though, dude. Out of I know, the problem with that is I need to make sure the person that I get involved in is not going to switch up their politics the second they get in office, or he can complain like he wants to during a bit of harming and just bitching about what you don't like from these politicians. You don't have to be a politician to be involved in politics. All right, well, I mean, dude, personally, I think that change starts right here, where we are right now, because this is the low levels of the ladder. I think if you can get big enough, then maybe you can grab some attention. You can grab some attention, man, because that's what it's about, right? I mean, dude, there's not. Listen, I've tried to contact my governor. I've emailed the assembly members in my state. I have done pretty much everything that I can do as far as the things that I want to change, and I get an email back saying, "Sorry, but we're not all for that, but we appreciate you reaching out and talking to us." That's frustrating. Just in the sense that, well, yeah, it's not bitching isn't harmful, and I wouldn't necessarily say that this is bitching so much as it is having a conversation. In America, it can take millions to win a political position that pay less than 100 grand. Unfortunately, but that's exactly why we should get the money out of it. So that because I think that's the only real way to make change happen. Take the money out of all of it and say, okay, man, let's see how passionate you are now when you don't have all those zeros in your bank account. And we'll make it so that the people that you need to elect you have to prop you up. Defeated thinking is easy, but you get nowhere. Well, I'm not sitting and dwelling on it. I was just making a point. There's huge money in the wall that prevents most from entering into politics. I could believe that. For a second, I thought you were talking about the wall that he wants to build, which is another wild thing to do. But you know, shit. Defeated thinking. Okay. Well, so what do you mean by that? What did I say it wrong? I probably did, didn't I? You scroll up, see if I can find where you said it. Yeah, alright, so I said it wrong, dude. Big deal. Look, man, I never threatened anybody and said that I was gonna be smart. Seriously. But I mean, correct me all day. I'm for that. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I misread that. I thought that was all the same comment from when he said that defeated thinking is easy, but you get nowhere. And I'm not sitting here defeated, dude. I mean, I sat here on a Monday and sat through like a 3 or 4 hour Senate meeting. I wrote in to people that can bring my testimony into said Senate hearing. So I'm doing as much as I can with what I'm able to do. But again, I think that conversation starts here on the ground level because we're all stronger in numbers, right? But if I can't go door to door in this day and age, I don't think anybody would take me seriously. They're like, dude, I got other things that I'm more worried about. And that's unfortunate. There's also a big concern with how people feel like their vote doesn't make a difference anymore. I'm out. Have fun, guys. All right, see you later, dude. I don't I don't understand 100% why the hostility at certain times. I mean, it did kind of seem like that person did kind of rev it back down to normal, but I mean, whatever. So, I got sidetracked completely. We were talking about kneeling for the anthem. I mean, I know that politics go into it. That is a big part of the conversation. But I mean, why? My question is, why is it that kneeling gets talked about and domestic violence really does not get talked about? That is my question. Because yeah, they did say that they have a policy in there for a 6 game suspension, and then after that it's a lifetime suspension. And then there was a dude that got booted off of the 49ers and I think got picked up by the Cowboys. I mean, I know that Jerry Jones likes to take players that have issues and flip them around and keep their head in the game, so to speak. I know that a lot of those guys back in the 90s were kind of crazy by their own admissions. That oh my God, Michael Irvin and all those dudes, used that wild times, but they were really good at their jobs, man. I mean, Jesus. But why is it that domestic violence really doesn't get talked about? Instead, what's being talked about, it seems like, as it pertains to NFL news, is more so if it's not about kneeling for the national anthem, then it's about a woman being a coach for a team. Like, really? I look, if you're a woman and the truth is that only want they only want to Negroes to jump and entertain. No one is supposed to know or even care about what we go through in this country, so kneeling is a great affront, which is ridiculous, man. I mean, I take it back to yesterday where, people should just be people. There should not still be a separation between two people because we look different. I mean, we should really separate people from their actions. Are you an asshole or are you a good person? Many still don't see us as legitimate Americans. Some don't even see us as human, which is wild. I don't get it, man. I don't pretend to understand that logic, but I think also those people are scared. They're afraid. Why are they afraid? Maybe because they've been having things shoveled into their brains since they were small children about what to believe. Or maybe they're afraid because, they hear one rap song and then they automatically equate that to every person walking around. Are they afraid that somebody that's different than them could potentially be smarter? Could that be what it is? I don't know. I mean, I I went to North Carolina a few years back, right? Because we were heading to Florida. I was going to my buddy's house in Florida to go and visit him. And we stopped in one of the Carolinas, north or south, I don't remember. So we get to this hotel, and there's a guy out back of the hotel smoking a joint. So one of the guys, it was me, my buddy, his parents, his brother, and one of his friends. This dude that was with us raced over to this guy, stood right next to him, and was like, "Hey man, do you think I can take a hit off of that?" Guy turned around and was like, "Dude, get the fuck out of here. I don't even know you." And he was like, "Oh no, come on, man, don't be like that." He was like, "No, dude, seriously, get the fuck out of here. We're gonna have a problem." Okay, kid walks away. So I'm kind of standing there, and I said, "Sorry about that guy, man. He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand how manners work." Now, obviously, this is a white dude standing outside of the hotel, smoking his joint. He's like, "It's all right. It happens. I got rid of him, no problem." He's like, "You seem cool though, man. We got to talking for a little while, back and forth, bullshitting about weed and everything else." Wait. The funny thing is that many of us are relatives. For instance, I'm a lighter skinned black person on my father's side. Everyone was light, but no one knows who the white relatives are. Dude, my sister just had a kid a few years ago with some black dude. I say some black dude because this guy this guy is a fucking asshole. And I've seen white people do this, and I've seen black people do this, Spanish people, whatever. You can name any race and you can throw it in there. This dude gets her pregnant and then decides, you know what? I don't really want to do this. Where did we come from? Just popped out of the ether. Someone is not claiming their relatives. That's true. Maybe they're scared. They don't want nobody to know. Real quick aside, I'll get back into what I was saying about my sister and the guy in the hotel in a second. But my girlfriend's leaving your kids is fucked up for sure. My girlfriend's father, his mom, had an affair. She has two daughters. She's a German white woman. She has two daughters, one white daughter and one lighter skinned black daughter, right? And I swear, I'm not even making this up. I'm not even making this up, dude. She said the reason why she got pregnant with the black daughter, and both of them are named Belinda, also, which I find kind of strange that you would name both kids the same thing, but whatever. Uh, you know, she goes, I got kissed by a black guy, and that's how I got pregnant. Yeah, which is crazy, dude. And she still denies it, and she's a real fucking racist from way back. I can't stand that fucking woman. I really can't. I play nice with her to a certain degree because I have to. Thankfully, she lives all the way in Minnesota, and I don't have to see her on a regular basis. Because if I did, we would have words for sure. Because I don't care. I mean, her father, my girlfriend's father, was a fucking racist. He's an ex-Nazi guy. Apparently, he ran with some gang in Germany, being a fucking idiot. But you know, he hated my guts when he first met me. I broke him down eventually because I wouldn't leave him alone. In the sense that, like, dude, you know that you being hateful is not hurting anybody but yourself, right? Yeah, dude, this guy is serious, bro. Serious fucking dude. When we were kids, because I've known her since we were young kids. Um, he actually chased me around with a 9mm because he thought that I was trying to have sex with her when we were younger. No shit, and this guy is no joke. Hard, hard guy. But I broke him down because I was like, dude, let me get to the root of what your problem is. Because I know this came from somewhere. Or at least I believe. Like I don't think you're born racist. I think you're taught to be a racist. Somebody has to put those thoughts into your mind and make you believe that. And maybe because you don't have much influence from outsiders, you don't know that it's not really the way to be. All right, hold on. Just had to scratch my head real quick, so I had to take my headphones off. I have an irrational fear of folks like that. I'm very defensive and combative when they come around me. Oh, dude, I hear you. I'm scared of everybody, pretty much. Like if I don't know you, it doesn't matter what color you are, where you come from. I automatically think like you're guilty until proven innocent. Unfortunately, like in the sense that if you're a stranger to me, I'm not gonna let my guard down for a long time. Like I have to know that you're actually a decent person and you're not going to try to do anything shady. But that's a long process, really long process because even people that I mean I've known some people for 20 years that have fucked me over. Feel you, man. You are aware of the danger around us. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I thank my neighborhood growing up for that. I grew up uh in a place, Tom's River. There is a place called Winteringham Village, really, really rough neighborhood. And I lived in the neighborhood directly across from that. There was literally like a footpath that was covered in bushes. But if you knew where it was, you can literally just walk right there and then you're in the other neighborhood. And it was pretty crazy, really crazy when I was really young. Uh, somebody I still don't to this day I don't know who this was or why they did it. I had a bad mouth as a young kid. Real loud, obnoxious. I said crazy shit because I just came from broken home. I was angry, man. But I said what I think then, just like I say what I think now. But some dude popped up out of the woods, man, and put a fucking Michael Myers knife to my throat. And said, talk shit again next time I cut your throat. Still don't know who that was. I've lived in some tough places in Detroit. In self defense, I saw my mom shoot three men who were trying to harm her in some way. Holy shit! That's crazy. Hopefully, she didn't get in trouble. I've heard Detroit's really rough, man. It's a tough spot to be in. I mean, I know that there are places around here that you definitely don't wanna go to. Black, white, doesn't matter. Okay, good. Because I worry with self defense like that. Because I would imagine that it must be very difficult to prove that it was self defense. The one time the cops came, they were on our side. Fuck, man. Cops scare me too, dude. Some of them do. Some of them do just because you know that guy. You know that guy when he's driving around or he's walking on patrol. He has that look to him. where he's just looking to start some shit because maybe he didn't have a good day before he left work or whatever the reason was or is that he's like that. You know that dude when he's coming towards you. It's it's fucking scary, man, because they hold all the power. But to jump back over to the hotel thing real quick, talking to the guy, he says like, dude, you know what? You seem cool. If you want later on, this is my room number. You can come and we'll have a smoke. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll do that. So I tell my buddies that I'm going to go down to this dude's room. And they were like, dude, you really shouldn't do that. And the guy was like, come by yourself. If you come with either of the other two guys that were here earlier, I'm not going to open the doors. You got to come alone. And I'm like, all right, tell them. They're like, dude, not a good idea. But I'm like, look, so I don't know what could possibly happen if the guy wants to hurt me, he's gonna hurt me regardless. So let me just go down there and see if I can talk to him, figure out where he's from and what's he about and shit like that. So I go down there, I go knock on his door, he opens the door. Now this dude had to be like 6 foot, 300 pounds. Had to be. He was a rather large man. But we sit down where he's starting to roll up a Philly. And I'm looking around his hotel room, dude, and the red flags just start going up. I look up on the wall, and he's got a rebel flag on the wall, and I'm like, fuck. Why did I come down here? This is not going to end well for me. Because I automatically equate that with, from my high school years, kids that, rep that kind of shit were 99% of the time racist people. So it's automatically where my mind goes. And he's rolling, he sees me looking at it. And he's like, oh, you see the flag up there? I'm like, yeah, I see it. He's like, yeah, I keep it around because it reminds me of where I've been and shit like that. I'm like, okay. He has a not a camo. He has a flannel on. He takes his flannel off. He has rebel flag tattoos on both of his arms. So I'm like, oh, this dude is in deep, man. I gotta figure out where am I gonna lead this conversation so that I don't want to piss this guy off, but at the same time I'm curious. I have questions. So maybe if I'm just genuine with him, maybe he will talk to me. Hopefully, if you don't want to talk, I mean, he'll probably flat out just say, I don't want to speak about that. We better change subject to something else. So he lights it up. We're passing it back and forth, and I'm staring at his tattoos, dude, because I can't look away. He's a Confederate soldier. What did it remind him from where he came from? Well, yeah, I'm gonna get to that. People will say anything. I'm gonna get to that. Now, I'm gonna preface all this by saying it might be complete bullshit in this moment. I believe this guy 100%. But this is what it was. He was like, I got that's all right. That's all right. Questions are good, man. Definitely. Especially because I tend to get sidetracked sometimes. But, I'm like, dude, what's with the tattoos? What's with the flag? And all that stuff. I mean, I know that we're down south. Is that just like a state thing? State pride or whatever? Like what? And he was like, no, actually, it's like if you really want to know the story, I'll tell you. Like my background is and he just drops it on me. Because I used to be a Klan member. And this is where I'm like, oh, all right, now I'm totally done for. This is a setup. Somebody's gonna come out of the closet and it's gonna be over for me. They're gonna try to beat me up and rob me or whatever. My brain is running 100 miles an hour now. I'm stoned already. Just like, yeah. I'm already high as hell, dude. I mean, this guy was rolling cannons. So I'm already fucked up. He said I used to be an ex-clan member. I was like, okay. Ex-clan member, what happened? And he was like, well, first I'm jumping ahead of myself. Like, okay, well, how do you even get wrapped up into that life if you don't mind me asking? Because I've never met anybody. 100%, dude. That will fuck your eye up with all these surprises, dude. You're not wrong, man. I'm like, dude, how do you even get into that life? And he was very honest. He was like, look, I went to a predominantly black school. I was the only I was one of two white guys in the school. There were a lot of black kids didn't like me because of the fact that I was white, so I would get jumped all of the time. And some people join gangs. For me, it was the clan was right there, so I joined up to get protection basically, and I rode with them for a while, and I was a racist because every time I saw a black person, I automatically associated them with people who jumped me. So I hated them all. We used to go to black neighborhoods and just find random people and beat the shit out of them for no reason other than the fact that they were black. It's like I'm not proud of that now, but that's what my life was like then. And he was like, I know it seems kind of hard to believe, so hold on a second. Let me show you something. I'm on everything I love in this world, dude. I'm not bullshitting you. He goes under his bed and he pulls out a baseball bat. I'm like, all right, this is it. This is where I'm going to go down. I'm really scared now. He pulls the bat out. There's dents in it. It's literally stained. It's a stained bat and it's stained with red and there's dents all in it. And I'm like, oh fuck, this is not good. Oh man, I got stories almost similar to his in a fucked up way. Being one of fewer light skinned black folks I caught abuse, they couldn't take out their anger on any actual white person. That's really fucked up. That's really fucked up. Called white boy a cracker and I got bullied for it. Man, that's crazy to me. Because you would think that they would be like, well, you're still, even though you're lighter than us, you're still one of us. But I guess at the same time, I mean, my own growing up, my father hated me because I have Italian in me from my mother's side. They're all Italian and Irish, and he's whatever the hell he is. So you catch hell from white people and black people. Fuck, man, that is crazy. This was back in the late 70s, early 80s. Damn, so you were in the thick of it all. Jesus, that's fucking horrible. I definitely want to get into more of that for sure. But the guy's pointing at his bat, dude, and he's like, "You see that? Those are not regular dents from baseballs. Those are teeth marks." And you can see like there is still a tooth in the fucking bat from when they used to ride around and just beat the shit out of people. I'm like, yo, man, this guy is fucking serious. He rolls up another Philly, sparks that thing up. We're talking more, and he's like, oh, yeah, and I got this thing. And he pulls out a sword, machete, I think. This thing was probably, I'm 5'6", 5'7", and this thing was easily half the size of me. So now I'm really freaked out. Good reason, obviously. So I'm trying to figure out how do I get off of the bat situation and get onto something else. So I figure let me backpedal a little bit. I'm like, okay, well, how do you even leave something like that? Because aren't you in it for life? He's like, yeah, you're supposed to be. He goes, like if I'm out here in this hotel now because I'm hiding. He's like, if these people ever find me, they'll kill me because I was in the organization and I left. He's like, it's kind of like a gang mentality. Is like once you're in, and that's it. The only way out is through a coffin. So they have a green light on me for the rest of my life. He's like, but what changed me was I had a kid. I had a kid with my wife. That was the lady that checked you guys in, and we run the hotel together. So you know, he was like, I had a kid, I had a girl, and when we were in the delivery room, I looked down at my kid, and he was like, that's when I realized that who am I to influence this child for the rest of her life with all my baggage and my bullshit? That I should be able to give her a fair shot and let her make her own assumptions in life, not to be hateful towards anybody. Because I see, you know, clan members with the babies and the little outfits and shit. He's like, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that to my kid. So honestly, I was shocked, dude, because I couldn't believe that. I mean, I know that having a child is a significant part of your life. Yeah, one hell of an epiphany for sure it is. Like, dude, I couldn't believe that you can have a kid and look down and be like, man, I need to change my life up. I always kind of thought that was like, an exaggeration of what people say. But I mean, apparently this guy really believed that. And I'm happy that he had that turnaround in his life because if he didn't, I sure as hell wouldn't be sitting in a room with him. I mean, full disclosure, dude. I mean, obviously, I grew up on 90s hip hop music. I don't wear skinny jeans. I like my clothes a little bit baggy. But I mean, somebody like that would take one look at me and they would want a problem or they would just keep walking. So, hearing a story from that guy, and he was like, when you leave here, you can tell your friends and you can tell your buddies back home, and now you have a story that you can tell everybody. He's like, but listen, this is it. We sat, we shared a smoke together, but this is as far as it goes. He's like, tomorrow, I don't know you, you don't know me. You tell your buddies about any of this, and I'm going to deny all of it like it never happened. So once you walk out that door, that's it. This conversation never took place. It was almost like I signed a verbal NDA or something. Dude, I don't know what was in that weed, but I left that guy's hotel room hearing the voices. I'm not even bullshitting you right now. I don't know if it was the combined stress of worrying that I was gonna get killed right then and there in the middle of nowhere, nobody would ever know. But that was crazy. And I mean, I still to this day, I still think about that guy fairly often, just because. I mean, that was I guess you can call that a significant point in my life. A stoner too. I get it. Yeah, dude. I haven't been able to smoke in 4 or 5 years because I'm on medication and my doctor gives me random drug tests. Although, I did go to a concert. My brother brought me to a concert recently. It was Bush, Stone Temple Pilots, The Cult, and the dude from Orgy has a new band, and there was so much smoke in that place, dude. When I got home, my eyes were bloodshot, so I definitely got a strong contact high from it. So that was the first time indirectly that I've smoked in like 4 or 5 years, but I miss it a lot only because the relaxing sensation from it. and there's no guilt like there is attached to the pills that I take. Like, dude, I take these things and I feel bad. I know that I'm in legitimate pain and they help, but I feel guilty for taking them like I'm doing something wrong, which is fucked up. I never felt that way with weed. I mean, it always, and I've never had a bad experience. I mean, no, I can't say that. I've had bad experiences. I've had a few people lay some things on me. I don't know if you've ever had that happen to you. That happened to me twice. Had a stint with abusing pills for about a year. What were you taking, if you don't mind me asking? Unless it's gonna bring back, like, I don't want you to start to get that itch again. So if it's better for you not to talk about it, I can understand that. But I mean, yeah, they'll get you, man. I had a good friend that had a severe, severe pill problem. He was taking 80s, Oxy 80s, man. Taking about 9 of them motherfuckers a day. Sniffing them, eating them. It was insane to watch the process. He would wake up in the morning the second his eyeballs open, and boom, right on the phone, looking for them. Who has them? Where's it at? I gotta find something. I only got like a 2 hour window before the shakes and shit start kicking in. So I can't wait around. I gotta find somebody. And he did this for a while. Like straight up hydrocodone with ecmethamphetamine and fent patches. Woo! Them vent patches are for real, dude. I've never had one. Thankfully. I never touched any of that shit. I've been on Vikes, without it. So that's like Roxy's, but with Vicodin. I mean, I've had a lot of different things. I started out on Oxy 80s when I went to a doctor and they prescribed me 80s to start out because I got cerebral palsy, multiple sclerosis, which I know now, I didn't know then. And then also there's herniated discs in my lower lumbar and in the middle. When I was out in the field of constructions, drugs flow like water. I'm glad I'm not out there anymore. Dude, ironically, my buddy that got hooked, he worked for a car dealership. I was a Boy Scout before I was a tradesman. I was a Boy Scout too, but I'm sure that's not what you mean. Um, he worked in a car dealership, and when he would slow down, people in the car dealership were like, "Hey, man, you need to step your game up a little bit. Pop one of these. Try some of this." Giving him perk 10s, Roxy 30s, whatever it was, to keep the activity up and keep them reproducing and pushing out car sales. It's insane. But I mean, it's rough, man. It really is because I know that these pills are bad, but they help. I mean, I'm waiting for they have medical here. It's too expensive though. It's 150. I had a relapse after my mom died. Fuck, dude. That's tough. That's when it was really bad. Oh, I can imagine because you're depressed and you're like, oh, what's gonna make me feel better? Oh, I know. Let me take something that's gonna have me not feel anything. That'll make it all better. And then you fall right back into the same routine of, well, I mean, I already jumped off the wagon, so what's a few more pills to have fun? Yeah. And then it goes from that to well, now it's not even fun anymore. Now again, I'm back to not wanting to get sick again. How the fuck did I get myself here? I mean, god damn. I'm worried about that. I mean, obviously I don't abuse them, but I mean, just having the dependency on them, it's scary. I mean, shit, dude. Because these things will fuck your life up. Straighten it back out. People need me. I had to get it together. Yeah, man. Definitely credit for that. To recognize that, dude, because I know people who have kids and it didn't make a difference for them. The I don't know if it was the high was more important or if it was just not wanting to be sick. I know a dude who actually said that, when he would shoot up, he would actually hope that he would just overdose and die so he didn't have to worry about getting out of that life. Like supposedly they're sober now. I say supposedly because I'm not around them anymore. Obvious reasons. I removed myself from all those people. I mean, I feel bad for them that they're going through shit, but I can't get taken down in the process with them. They have to learn on their own, especially because his wife even said, like, dude, you can go to rehab 30 times and it's not going to make a difference. All the rehab laws in the world, instead of putting me in jail, is not going to matter. I have to want to get clean. And I mean, I guess eventually they did, but that's what it comes down to. They have to want it, and that sucks. And I mean, since we're on the subject of this, dude, it does kind of fall back into the NFL, which is like, I know a lot of players. Adrian Foster, I just watched a thing. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast, I think last year, where he was talking about how the painkillers run rampant through the NFL. Like, oh, you got a broken arm? Here, let me stick this needle in there. Here, now you're all good. You can't feel it at all. So they run back on the field and they play. And they don't realize until later on, maybe when they're not playing football anymore. Yeah, beating the hell out of your body for sure leads to it. It does, man. But I mean, he was talking about how it's all over the place. And when he had his injuries, he didn't want. First started with pills after surgery. See, my buddy too. He started at the car dealership, which was brief because his appendix almost burst inside of his body. When he would start throwing up and shit like that regularly, and he was getting severe abdominal pain, he was like, "All right, man, I have to go get checked out. I don't want to." He's afraid of doctors, obviously, for good reason. You don't ever want to go and get checked out when something's wrong with you, but you have to. But he went in for it was my gallbladder severely infected. Oof. I knew a girl that had to get her gallbladder taken out. That shit is serious, man. He had his appendix out, and they gave him Dilaudid in the hospital. And then after he got out, all bets were off, man. He just went crazy with the pills. But I mean, it happens. He bounced back now. It took him a while between Suboxone, Subutex to just get all off that shit. Took him years. But I mean, Adrian Foster was talking about how I won't do the needles. That's too far for me. Yeah, me too. Me too. Honestly, dude, I'd rather somebody shoot me. Just shoot me right in the face and end it for me because I don't want to live like that. I would not want to live like that. I have nightmares about that shit sometimes. But I mean the whole thing is just it's everything about it just disgusts me. It really does. I mean, this dude was talking about how he used marijuana when he was healing from his injuries, and even though that's frowned upon in the NFL, they give you pills, and that's completely okay. I don't understand that logic at all whatsoever. You would think because the weed, there's less strings attached to it. And I understand you can make an argument that some people just don't, they can't handle anything. Joe Rogan actually said this, and I think it was Flying Monkeys in Space. I think that was the name of the special, where he was like, "Oh, my brother's life got ruined by pot." Talking to somebody who messaged him, and he was like, "Dude, that guy was fucked from the beginning. Like, if it wasn't weed that did it, it would have been scratch offs. Something would have taken him down." And that's sad that that is like that for some people, but it is it is a big part of it, a big part of what happens. I mean, I guess a lot of people don't have self-control. I blow people's minds that, I mean, I take 4 of these things a day. If you're lazy already, weed ain't gonna help it. Yo, for sure. Dude, there's nothing more that I liked in the world than being able to smoke a little bit and then go out and do something, man. That was my favorite shit in the world because I'm in a great mood. My body doesn't hurt. And everything, people watching was one of my favorite things to do. I know that's kind of lazy in a way, but one of my favorite things to do was to go to the mall, just ripped, man, and sit outside and just watch people go in and out. And it's amazing how you see people from all different walks of life. Just, and the conversations that you get in snippets. It's funny how, I smoke and build shit, welding, fabricating, me and my old instruction rather, used to smoke before practice. Instructor, okay, yeah, dude, best way to do it, man. Best way to do it. I like to, I used to write a lot in the, like, stories and shit. So that was a fun thing to do. That was cool, but I also like to, like, take a take a few hits of it and go crazy cleaning the house. Wield better high. Way more focus and patience. Well, no, dude, definitely. That's a good point. I think it does that for a lot of people. Helps you focus in. I know a artist that when she smokes, she can actually have the patience to sit down and look at a paper. And sometimes the lines, she can almost see the outlines on the page before she even starts, which will give her a sense of direction. Or then she can just sit back and critique it and not go crazy into her head about how bad that she thinks it is, which is kind of interesting if you think about just the way that you couldn't do that. She couldn't do that normally. But, I mean, the one downside for sure is getting your shit laced, but that's if you're not around, if you're around the wrong people, that's gonna happen to you. And I mean, I know that I completely jumped off the original topic, but I wanted to share this story real quick before we go back into the NFL and all that stuff. But I was hanging out with a bunch of people, and we were all smoking. We were smoking out of a bowl, and I say that because it's important to note. Now, there was like 6 of us, and the one girl whose house we were at, she starts looking at everybody else, and she goes, so what do you think? BRB gotta start getting ready for work, but I'm still listening. Okay. Um, she go, should I do it? What do you think? And they're like, I mean, I guess if you really want to. And I'm like, do what? What are we talking about? And she's like, oh, nothing, something completely unrelated to this. Should have known right then and there that something was going to go on. But I'm a dummy and didn't realize it at the time. So she switched out the bowls. It was a regular bowl that we were smoking out of, and she switched it with this bowl was an elephant. where the body is where you would put the weed and you would pull from the trunk. So I didn't really think too much of it at the time. But I'm like, that's weird. Why would she change the bowl out? And she said that it was because she didn't have any extra screens on her. And that one had a screen in it, so she was just going to use that. Hold on. Dog is whining. Let me see what she's bitching about. What's the matter? What's the matter? What? What? You gonna go out? You gonna go out? Alright. Oh shit. I gotta take the dog out, so I don't know if I should just leave this running or I can end it and come back to it. 8 minutes before quitting time. Oh fuck this guy right now. I gotta head out myself. Alright, man. We'll pick this up at a later time then. I apologize, I got completely sidetracked on the topic. I can probably. Oh shit, I just hit the wrong button. I could probably come back to this in a few minutes, but I gotta take her out so she doesn't go in the house. But, alright, man. Appreciate you guys dropping in. I will see you soon. If you want to come back in, I'll put out a notice before I start it. But I'll catch you guys in a little bit.